know this about me. I'm actually a full-fledged card-carrying Roman Catholic.
Well, yeah, you're not a practicing Catholic anymore, but you are. You are. In fact, you qualify to be the Pope, don't you?
I meet all of the qualifications to be the Pope.
Explain that to people. Explain
because
that.
There are only two qualifications, and I actually went and verified this online. I knew this was true, but it was one of those things that, something that you think you know is true may or may not be true, so you better verify, that kind of thing. Right. I don't want to sound like a dummy on your show.
Thank
you.
It's
okay on my show, but on your show, I better at least sound smart,
Yes,
right?
because I never sound like a dummy, and I never get anything wrong, so I don't want you to either.
Well, it's true. I was baptized and confirmed a Roman Catholic. I did do all the ritualistic stuff for, I don't know, up until grade 8, and then when I hit high school, I just sort of went, I'm just an atheist, so I really don't believe it, and I just walked away from it. And then when I was 27 years old, I had a miraculous encounter with the living God, and I've been a practicing Catholic in so much as the word Catholic simply means the universal church, right? But a Roman Catholic, I'm not a practicing Roman Catholic anymore. Although when it comes to belief in Jesus Christ and that He is the only way to salvation, that is the traditional view of the Roman Catholic Church. And so in that sense, I'm a Catholic, and I meet the qualifications to be the Pope, believe it or not.
And what are the two qualifications?
Well, they are that you have to be a Roman Catholic and you have to be a man. Those are the only qualifications to be the Pope, believe it or not.
Okay, so a woman cannot be a Pope. What's the deal with a woman?
Well, the Roman Catholic Church, they believe that women are breeders, to perpetuate the religion, and that's why they get them when they're young, Carl. They baptize babies when they're babies, because. And I mean, I don't mean to sound harsh, but if the Catholics are right, Carl, I'm going to heaven and you're not, by the way.
Right, I know.
Because they believe that you have to be baptized and confirmed a Roman Catholic. Well, actually just baptized, because for them, the born-again experience is the baptism experience.
Right.
So they get them when they're babies, they baptize them into the church, and that way they're guaranteed a ticket to heaven.
Right. I know. I'm familiar with
that. Even if it means going through a purging process, or something that they call purgatory.
Right.
Something that was invented to generate a revenue stream to build St. Peter's Basilica, by the way.
Right. And by the way, folks, those of you listening, if you want to call and challenge this or agree with this or give some anecdotal evidence or experience, 850-623-1330, you can talk directly to Mike Shoesmith or me. And yeah, Mike, no, I'm familiar with all that, and I want to say to our audience, especially those that are Roman Catholic in our audience, by the way, Bill Martinez, my last guest of this afternoon, from Bill Martinez Live, syndicated in several hundred markets around the United States. I think he's a practicing Roman Catholic. I know he
could be Pope too then.
Yeah, he could be. But he's a dear brother in the Lord. The man is just eat up with a love for Jesus.
Sure.
And I want to say there are a lot of Catholics who are. And people ask me if I think all Catholics are going to hell, and my answer is no more than I think all Baptists are going to heaven. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with, are you born again? That's what Jesus told Nicodemus.
Right.
I mean, a Jew can go to heaven, a Catholic can go to heaven, a Baptist can go to heaven, a Muslim can go to heaven if they surrender their faith and their life to Jesus Christ as Lord.
And there's no question that Dr. Grace Boto loves the Lord.
And she's
however,
Catholic.
She does not qualify to be Pope, even though she is a Roman Catholic.
That's right.
Because she's a woman, and women cannot be Pope. They're really considered to be the perpetuators of the faith. Really, they bring about the next generation of adherents. But yeah, that's basically it. That's the born again experience for the Roman Catholic system, is the baptism.
Yeah.
And so there you go. I'm a Roman Catholic. I love the Lord, and I can be Pope.
Well, we
should talk about this new Pope, Carl, after the break. I mean, there is some. I mean, you talk about Bible prophecy coming to pass.
Okay.
I mean, it seems to me, I could be wrong, but it seems to me like we have some tremendous stuff going on here with this new Pope, ties to Obama, ties to Bible prophecy, end-time Bible prophecy that people will not want to miss. Yeah, well, when this Pope was elected pontiff, we covered it. I think you were away, and Mike Bates sat in for you that day, and Mike and I, we had a half-hour discussion on this Pope. We outlined the Malachi prophecies, the prophecy of the popes, right?
Yeah, I remember
that. The popes would reach a certain number from his life, and then when it reached that number, that particular Pope would be the last Pope. Well, we are at that number now. This Pope is that Pope to which Malachi referred to as the final Pope.
Right. And Malachi, by the way, was a Roman Catholic commentator and supposedly scholar, and some say prophet, and that was some stuff that he wrote hundreds of years ago.
Right, and he would shepherd his sheep in terrible times, et cetera, et cetera. People can look that up for themselves. That's not what this segment's about. But we covered that, and we've been keeping our eye on this Pope ever since, because there is, now, this all ties in with the possibility that Barack Obama is an Antichrist, is the last Antichrist.
Right.
We know he is an Antichrist.
Right.
But we've been examining the possibility that he is the Antichrist. Just looking at it, just sort of in the periphery, just taking a good look at it.
Right, and let's just
make our eye on it.
Yeah, and let's just make a disclaimer that P.P. Simmons looks at a lot of world leaders in that light, and Obama just seems to edge closer and closer to that all the time. You remember when we had Jeff Cooner on that day? And in the middle of his diatribe, Jeff Cooner, who's a big, he writes for the Washington Times. Sure. He's a WKRO and the Cooner Report. He just proclaimed over this program, he said, Barack Obama is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
So,
well, Jeff Cooner is also eligible to be Pope.
Yeah, that's right. He's a Catholic and a male. That's right.
And he loves the Lord, too.
Yeah, and never mind who was the woman just a few days ago, the big media person who says, we thought Obama was going to be the Messiah. And she meant that. What was her name? What's her name?
Oh, okay.
She just went right over my head. No, she just went right over my head. Barbara Walters. Barbara Walters.
That's it.
Yeah. She said, we thought Obama was going to be the Messiah.
Right.
So, folks, when you hear me and Mike talk about Obama might be the Antichrist, please don't think we're crazy, and we're not proclaiming that he is. It's just that even the leftists are using Antichrist kinds of terminology in describing the man. Go ahead, Mike.
Right, and just as there have been many Antichrists, and there will be an Antichrist, and there will be the Antichrist. There have been many false prophets,
right?
And there will be the false prophet,
right?
Beginning in Revelation 16 and onward, talks about this false prophet that is tied in with the beast, the Antichrist, right?
Right.
And they sort of work together as a pair. One is a political figure, one is a religious figure.
Right.
So we've been kind of watching this Pope Francis. Peter the Roman here.
Yeah,
we were kind of watching this guy saying, okay, is this guy going to tie up with Obama? And if he starts looking like he's joining Obama at the hip, we could have the false prophet Antichrist duo walking hand in hand through history here. And now in December of 2013, so this was a little over a month ago, Fox News had an article, the title of which was, Pope Francis is the Catholic Church's Obama.
Yeah.
And it says, now this is fascinating because it says in his interviews with those in the left-wing media he seeks to impress, Francis has said that the Church needs to stop being obsessed with abortion, obsessed with gay marriage, and stop seeking to convert people.
Right.
He said we need to get to know each other, listen to each other, and improve our knowledge of the world around us.
Right.
And that sounds very synchronistic, right?
Yes.
We've outlined that Barack Obama is a Muslim to the Muslim, a Christian to the Christians, a Jew to the Jews. He's a syncretist.
Right.
He conflates all the world's philosophies into one, right?
Right.
And it looked like the Pope was leaning also in that direction, which gives us the connection to the Pope. And now, more recently, we find that the Pope is actually starting to channel the words, Barack Obama is beginning to channel the words of the Pope himself when it comes to Marxist views of financial systems.
Right.
Where the acts of, giving to the, taking from the rich, giving to the poor, etc., that's all Marxist propaganda nonsense.
Right.
And it looks like this Pope is in lockstep with the Barack Obama doctrine of Marxism and socialism, right?
Right.
Now,
no, you've documented that on P.P. Simmons. I've read those articles, yeah.
Yeah. Now, and that brings us to this article here. And, in fact, this one we posted to the P.P. Simmons blog, and we quoted the New York Times here because and we actually called it a false prophet watch because it looks like the Pope has full-on embraced syncretism. And rather than Roman Catholicism as it has traditionally been taught, the Pope has abandoned Roman Catholicism in favor of syncretism. They are now joined at the hip in this regard, and Catholics worldwide need to be outraged at this message that comes from this Pope, who is actually contravening the directives of Scripture. He is actually saying to the world that we all need to unite even non-believers, under the common goal of peace. He's not saying that we need to reach out to people and have them join us under the Prince of Peace,
right,
which is the ultimate goal of the Christian church,
right,
which the Roman Catholics claim to be a part of. That is in direct contravention of the directives of Scripture, which deny the ability of believers to unite with non-believers. In fact, it says directly, without ambiguity, in 2 Corinthians 6:14, it says, "Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers."
Right.
That's exactly what it says, right?
Right, exactly.
So he is contravening what the Bible tells us not to do.
Yep.
And this message that coming out from the Pope is a syncretist message. He has abandoned the Roman Catholic doctrine of reaching out under the banner of the Prince of Peace. And I just think, we're out of time, but I just think we need to keep our eyes closely on these two.
I agree. Mike, you've got 15 seconds. Tell us where people can reach you.
You can reach me. ppsimmons@live.com is my email address, and ppsimmons everywhere there's an internet connection. God bless you guys. God bless all my fellow Catholics. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, thank you, Mike. God bless you as well. Folks, go to www, and you have to put the 3 W's in, ppsimmons.com. 3 W's, ppsimmons.com. You can find out everything right there. We're going to be back with Grace Voto out of Boston and Washington in a few moments. You're listening to Carl Gallups on this Freedom Friday. Mallory Bardwell, your world-famous producer. We'll be right back.